Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. I want to do a new series. Now, this series is going to be the life and letters of the Apostle Paul. So, a big series. It's likely to take about 234 episodes. So, that's quite a lot of videos, isn't it? But we're going to be looking at the life of the Apostle Paul. I won't give you the contents of his life at this moment. Very difficult to get onto the screen what I want to communicate. But what I do want to do is bring to you chapter 1. And this is a book that I wrote 4 years ago and which was then published. And I want to really go through it. I want us to take our time, don't want us to rush. And if every day I'm able to do one episode, that's great. I might have to miss a day occasionally, but for the next 234 days or so, we're going to do this book on the life of the Apostle Paul. Now, the first thing we need to think about is the context of Paul's life. And to do that, I want to do what I call video number 1, which is the world in which Paul was born into. Okay, the world in which he was born into. Now, in the first century, in the land of Israel, what we call the Holy Land today, there were 3 very important civilizations that coincided to form the main ancient civilizations of the day. And the first and the oldest was the Jews. This people group was a nation that was effectively a very large extended family, which was as big as a nation. And they all called the children of Israel. Got that now? They're the children of Israel. They're the actual descendants of Jacob. Jacob, who was the grandson of Abraham. There were 12 sons of Jacob, and they were all each head of a family, which grew to be a tribe, which took the name of one of the fathers of the tribes. And these 12 tribes were a confederacy of tribes. All of them were autonomous, and yet all of them were linked by blood and by mutual support and by oaths of support. And they all referred to each other in whatever tribe as brother. So when somebody from the tribe of Levi met somebody from the tribe of Manasseh, they would refer to each other as brother. And this is something that's very important in understanding the New Testament. There are some occasions and there are some letters, there's some portions in which they refer to one another as brethren, and yet they're not Christians. No, they're brethren in terms of the nation of Israel, the Jews. However, at a particular time in their history, the 10 northern tribes revolt against the southern 2 tribes of Judah and Benjamin, and a civil war breaks out. And this left them weak. And in the end, the Assyrian Empire invaded the land from the north and took the 10 northern tribes away. And they intermarried with them, and they put people back into the land that were Gentiles, and they took many of the northern tribes out of the land. And the thing that's very interesting is the Assyrians, okay, always remained in the land to have control over the victories that they'd obtained. It had the effect of breaking up the 10 tribes, and many of them found it very difficult to maintain their heritage. The southern kingdom was eventually invaded too, and most of the population were taken to Babylon. However, after 70 long years of exile, they were allowed to return and rebuild the city of Jerusalem and the temple. Now, these people were referred to as Jews because Judah was the biggest tribe of the 2, and they were united in Aramaic as their language, which was the language of the Arameans. Now, it was referred to as Hebrew in the 1st century. The Greeks under Alexander the Great did much to bring peace through their conquests in the whole of the Middle East, and Greek became the language of commerce and daily life on the street. The Romans eventually conquered the Greeks, and yet another civilization continued to be. The Romans conquered the Greeks, but the Greek civilization still remained strong and influential in the Middle East, and the Romans held their strong empire together through iron rule, which allowed nations to continue under their leadership, yet strongly controlled by Rome and subject to Rome and subject to tribute. And therefore, Latin was the language of law and government. The Jews brought to the world the true worship of the God of heaven, and the Greeks brought culture of mind and of body and science, and the Romans brought power and civil government. Now, these three languages were symbolic of the threefold division of the world. It's no wonder that above the head of Christ, the inscription written by Pilate was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. Well, there we are. That's just our first installment. We look forward to talking to you on our next occasion. And God bless you all. Bye for now.